Before I kick off, I just want to acknowledge that there were 10 members of the panel that spent quite a considerable amount of time discussing the recipients for the Multi-Stakeholder Ethos Award, and most of them are over to this side of the stage, and they'll join me at the end of this for photos. So I'll get into it. Excuse my glasses. I'm pleased to announce that the Cross-Community Evaluation Panel for the 2016 ICANN Multistakeholder Ethos Award has selected 2 long-time community members as this year's award recipients. The panel decided to recognise 2 recipients because we felt that both met the award criteria in such distinctive ways that both should be recognised for the examples they set for others as key players in the ICANN community with diverse backgrounds, geography and community impacts. The 2 recipients were selected from a list of 19 nominees as the 2 who best demonstrate the spirit of collaboration with other community members with the aim of consensus building while providing their dedication to ICANN's multi-stakeholder model through their active participation over many years. I don't know the total of the 2 recipients that we have, but I think we're probably pushing into close to 40 or 50 years if we combine both recipients. I am pleased to announce that our panel has selected Chuck Gomes as the... I don't need to say anything more, do I? Chuck was the first chair of the Registry Stakeholder Group and was instrumental in the development and operations throughout the years. He served as a GNSO counsellor, including terms as vice chair and chair. Chuck has volunteered his time and services to innumerable working groups and drafting teams and is the current chair of the Next Generation Registration Data Services Working Group. I don't know. I've got the acronym's here, but I thought I'd try to spell it out, but I can't remember the name. Most recently, he has made timely and substantial contributions to the Cross-Community Working Group for the ANZ Steward transition, acting as liaison between the Cross-Community Working Group and the Cross-Community Working Group for Accountability. His experience and genial manner have made him a natural facilitator of ICANN community debates and an effective ambassador for the multi-stakeholder model. Obviously, from your reaction, there's not a person here who hasn't heard of or had the opportunity to work with Chuck in some capacity. Personally, I've known Chuck for a long time, but I've had the great fortune to benefit from his wisdom and collegiality during my time on the Registry Stakeholder Group over the last few years. Chuck has been a mentor to many in this community, including myself. And he's certainly not restricted by any constituency or stakeholder group boundaries. He is passionate in his advocacy of the goodness of the multi-stakeholder model and exhibits on a day-to-day basis the characteristics of a facilitator, collaborator, and consensus builder. I am very honoured to be able to present this award to Chuck on behalf of the panel and the community. Chuck.
Thank you, Donna. As I look out over this great audience and also look back over the last 18 years, I can't help but see hundreds of people who are deserving of this award. So I'm very humbled and honored to receive it. any positive contributions that I have made are not of my own abilities, but really come from the multi-stakeholder model itself. Because if it hadn't been for the help and contributions that all of you and all of those that are no longer here today have made to what I did, I wouldn't have had any success. It's really a tribute to the multi-stakeholder model and to the people who make that. It'd be disingenuous on my part to take credit for any success that I may have had, because without your help and contributions in the things I was working on, nothing I did would have been of any value. I'm not going to try to thank individual people because there are too many, and I'm sure I would forget some. But I do want to, at least at a high level, say thanks to those who have contributed to the multi-stakeholder model and to any part that I played in that. I want to first of all thank God for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this community. I pray every day that my limited capacities would be blessed, and without that blessing, anything I've done would have failed. I definitely want to thank my wife, Susie, who may be watching on the internet right now via video, because without her support and patience and maybe another word, tolerance, for the long hours, the weekends and holidays and vacations, I would have left this a long time ago without her support. And I want to thank my kids and grandkids, because they've had to put up with a lot too. And I want to thank the incredible people that I've worked with in a lot of organizations. I have to start with VeriSign, because without VeriSign's support for the multi-stakeholder model, and for me personally in the policy work that I've been involved with, I could never have done this. It's been great the way they have supported me. And over the years, and that goes back to Network Solutions in the late 90s, I've worked with just amazing people at VeriSign and had to rely on their expertise, because in a lot of cases I didn't have it. And of course, that means the current team that I'm working with in VeriSign, which is an incredible team of people. Secondly, I have to mention the registry stakeholder group. Donna mentioned that I was the first chair of that, but just before I became chair, Network Solutions was the only member. Now, it was a lot simpler then. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't exchange the collaboration that I've had with all the great people involved in the registry stakeholder group over the years for that simple situation we had back then. And of course, I have to talk about the GNSO. Registry stakeholder group is, of course, a part of that, and that's been where a lot of my focus has been. There have been a lot of people that have come and gone in the GNSO, and a lot that are still involved today that have been for a long time. What a great group of people that I've had the privilege of working with. And it's the teamwork in the GNSO, and I know the GNSO a lot of time is criticized for the way things happen, but without that teamwork, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I thank all of those people in the GNSO. Fortunately, my encounters in the multi-stakeholder model in ICANN haven't been limited to generic top-level domains. There are all kinds of you out there that are part of the other SOs and ACs. And again, all of you have been such a help to me in the work that I've tried to contribute to. And then I can't leave out ICANN staff and the ICANN board. I've had the privilege over the years of getting to know a lot of them quite well, and that's been a real joy. And anything that I've contributed to would have been so much harder, maybe impossible, probably impossible, without the help of ICANN staff and ICANN directors. In closing, let me say thanks for the award, certainly, but even more importantly, for those of you that made the award possible, because you're a part of the multi-stakeholder model. I've been fortunate to work with hundreds of people that are a lot smarter and capable than I am, and their willingness to contribute to anything that I tried to do is what makes anything successful that I've been involved with. Sincere thanks to all of you.
Thanks, Chuck. One of the reasons I was selected to do this presentation is because I was the one person on the panel that knew or know both of the recipients reasonably well. So I'm equally pleased to announce that our panel has selected Keith Davidson as a recipient of the 2016 Multistakeholder Ethos Award. Keith has been recognised by the panel for his leadership and contribution to ICANN's multi-stakeholder model, both within the CCNSO, where he has served as Vice Chair of the CCNSO Council and Co-Chair of the GNSO GAC Liaison Group, and more broadly across the entire multi-stakeholder internet ecosystem, as Director and Chair of APTLD, the driving force behind the Pacific IGF, a trustee of the Internet Society, and the President of Internet NZ. In his many leadership roles, including Chair of the Delegation and Redelegation Working Group and the Framework of Interpretation Working Group, Keith has demonstrated a consensus-building commitment to both ICANN and its multi-stakeholder processes that is both astonishing and inspiring. I've known Keith for about 10 years, and it's been a real privilege to get to know and work alongside Keith in the years since. Most recently, we worked together on the Meeting Strategy Working Group. So if you love it, it was my idea. If you don't, it was Keith's idea. We come from the same part of the globe and for the most part speak the same language. Keith has been an integral part of the New Zealand internet community that has advocated for an open internet and multi-stakeholder model of governance since the early days of ICANN. Keith has worn many hats that stretch beyond ICANN and the CCNSO and has worked tirelessly in various fora to educate and enlighten others about the benefits of the multi-stakeholder model, a model that Internet NZ lives by. Keith is a steadying and calming influence and is more often than not the voice of reason. Keith was around at the start, and his successes and guidance are significant reasons why our model has gained acceptance in global internet governance fora. Keith has recently retired. I understand that he delayed that retirement for about 12 months so he could finish up on some of the work in the CCNSO. And I know that we will all miss his steady hand and his easygoing manner. Keith can't be with us today, but I'm really happy that he has Debbie Monaghan to deputise for him. So please welcome Debbie to the stage on Keith's behalf.
Excellent, thank you. Well, I'm aware that Keith will be watching from home. For once, it's about 7 o'clock at night, so it's not obscenely early or horrible. And Keith, I'd just like to say I'm privileged that you asked me to do this for you, a man who's mentored me so well since I joined this community. So Keith has actually written a short statement, and for Keith it is actually quite short, relatively succinct, but I think when you hear it, you'll know it truly represents him as well. I am truly honoured and humbled to receive this recognition from the ICANN community as a recipient of the Multi-Stakeholder Ethos Award. Unfortunately, I cannot be with you in Helsinki, as I am now mostly retired and no longer active within ICANN, but I'm grateful for Debbie Monaghan stepping in to receive the award on my behalf. I do hope this new meeting structure will go well for everyone in Helsinki, and if it doesn't, feel free to blame me as one of the members of the Meeting Strategy Working Group who came up with this new format. ICANN is part of the bold global experiment in multi-stakeholderism. All the tenets and principles behind the concept are seeking to provide an alternative to multilateral treaties, and while it can appear that progress can be glacially slow, our work is being completed at lightning speed by comparison to the general global treaty processes. And always remembering that there are seldom one-size-fits-all solutions. So there is much at stake in this experiment, and if a successful internet governance model is the outcome, the future of multi-stakeholderism will surely assist in finding solutions for other global issues. Massive benefits can accrue from the equal participation by governments, business, and civil society in making consensus decisions. Within ICANN, the tasks are relatively narrowly focused on the management of the Internet's unique identifiers. Our tasks should be confined to developing high-level principles to guide us in our policy development and to exhaustively go through iterations to ensure all stakeholders can subscribe to the output policies. This reiterative process is frustrating, cumbersome, and often exhausting, but the benefit of having everyone on the same page is the successful outcome being sought. I don't think I have done anything more than subscribe to the process I have outlined, and believe that I have been most fortunate to work with a fantastically diverse number of people over the various SO and AC communities, who are equally driven in ensuring the success of the model and these processes. The so many people who have put in the countless hours of volunteer time should all share this award with me, for I have done nothing more than seek to steer a path of consensus amongst them. I have been delighted to be able to make some progress towards ICANN's goals, and am truly humbled and delighted to receive this award. Please remember that if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. So please be principle-driven in your future multi-stakeholder internet governance arena.